The Green Man. The man may have nearly burned alive. His face melted like candle wax. In early August 1919, 8-year-old Ray Robinson was walking with his sister and a few friends in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. They saw a bird's nest perched atop a tree, next to an abandoned trolley trestle. Ray climbed up to take a closer look. But he accidentally touched a 22,000 volts wire that had once powered the trolley. He was severely electrocuted. His nose, lips, ears, and eyes were all gone or deformed. His arms were maimed. One of his hands was blown clean off. His suffering was unimaginable. Doctors were astonished that he survived. But Ray didn't have much of a life after that. At least for a while. Ray wasn't exactly mistreated, but he did get isolated and ostracized. Even by his own family. His family would eat separately from him. He spent his time trying to listen to baseball games on the radio. He also filled some time trying to make wallets and mats. When he became a man, his family fashioned a small apartment for him out in their garage. He managed to dodge notoriety until he began craving a respite from the prison his life had become. He started walking the local highways. Always alone. The reactions he got from the people hurt him. So after that he only went out at night. He couldn't see, so he used a stick to navigate. He was reportedly spotted on these night walks, and those who approached him were surprised to meet a kind spirit friendly man. Later, it became a popular activity, especially among curious teenagers, to go to Route 351 at night, trying to encounter Robinson in the 1960s. The attention directed at him caused traffic jams as people packed the 351 to get a peek at him. It's been suggested that the Green Man name was given to him because of his attire, as he often wore his favorite green shirt on these badly excursions. In the 80s he moved to a nursing home in Pennsylvania where he lived out his last days, but the man didn't enjoy his life at all. After his death, an urban legend came to live. The legend goes that if you call out his name on Route 351 at night, the Green Man will appear and electroshock you. Not only don't we know his true full name, we know hardly anything about his life outside of the freak show. Instead, the world only remembers Schlitzie for his deformities that left him with a small, misshapen head. Deformities that led to fame, but ultimately brought his story to a sad end. We do know that Schlitzie was born with a condition called microcephaly, a deformity marked by a brain, skull, and body that are small. Both physically and mentally, the condition left him seriously handicapped. Even as an adult, Schlitzie had the mental aptitude of a 3 or 4-year-old and could only speak in short sentences and phrases. Meanwhile, he was also left with the small and misshapen head characteristic of his condition. A deformity that would lead to his lifelong career as a sideshow performer. Schlitzie earned a living with virtually every major circus of the early 20th century, including the Dobrich International Circus and Ringling Bros. He spent much of that time performing as a female on stage, even though he was a male by birth. He would thus often perform in a dress. Sadly, Schlitzie was said to prefer it that way because wearing a dress made it easier for his handlers to change his diaper, a necessity because he suffered from incontinence. As famous as he became while wearing a dress in stage shows, Schlitzie's fame truly skyrocketed in 1932 when he appeared in the infamous film Freaks. A story of love and betrayal set in the world of sideshows. The film is most well known today for featuring a number of actual sideshow freaks like Schlitzie. The movie was widely criticized for its grotesque horror involving the freaks. The movie was thus largely assailed in the press and banned in several cities. One woman even threatened to sue MGM after claiming that the film caused her to suffer a miscarriage. Ultimately, MGM cut down and then fully shelved the film, but then a roadshow company got a hold of it and showed it across the country. Despite the negativity surrounding the film, Schlitzie often stole the show. This clip shows the performer acting cute and innocent, showing the kind of demeanor that made him a favorite among the cast and crew, and then audiences.
Oh, Schlitzie, what a pretty dress. Oh, how beautiful you look tonight. You're just a man's woman. You know what I mean? Huh? You. If you're a good girl, when I get to Paris, I'm going to buy you a big hat with a long, beautiful feather on it. Oh, hello, Elvira.
Hello, Sir.
Hello, Jenny Lee. Look, hasn't Schlitzie got a beautiful dress? Isn't that pretty? When I get to Paris, I'm going to buy her a big hat with a long feather on it. And if you're a good girl, when I get to Paris, I'm going to buy you a hat with a bigger feather on it.
So fine. Well, we tell so was always white. I wish you were man. I was just in my time stand.
Why, Schlitzie, what's the matter? Oh, I'm sorry, Schlitzie.
This house fine. And she was sharp. I was saying to ask to stay on the stand.
Schlitzie stayed on the road with sideshows following his film debut. So deeply embedded was he in the sideshow world that in 1936, a chimp trainer named George Surtees of the Tom Mix Circus became his legal guardian. Surtees reportedly loved and cared for Schlitzie as his own son as much as possible, and this arrangement worked well until Surtees' death in 1965. It was then that Surtees' daughter, who wanted nothing to do with Schlitzie, had him committed to a mental institution in Los Angeles. Up to the end, Schlitzie never had a home nor a fortune despite his fame. Even in death, he had no home. He couldn't afford a proper gravestone, and it wasn't until 2007 that a fan raised enough money to have a black stone marker placed on the sideshow performer's final resting place in Los Angeles. A final act of kindness for a man who had the mind of a toddler, yet made an impact on millions of people throughout his life.